Okay, hi, my name is Clintleetwood, and this will be my first replay review on the new replay system. So I'm very excited to do this, and I apologize if there's some jank here, but we're going to be figuring some stuff out together. Um, just for some background on me, my name is Clintleetwood. I do commentary with Stoney over on his YouTube channel for the Mechabellum tournaments. But also, I stream over on Twitch. That's going to be on a little hiatus as I'm currently completely enwrapped in Path of Exile. However, that's neither here nor there. My credentials basically for this game is that I've been playing for a little over a year now. Maybe a little longer than a little over a year, but like a year, 2-3 months. And I hover at the moment in like the low 1700s to the high 1700s. I've been in a little bit of a rut, but I've routinely made a push for top 100 world. So I think I have some valuable insight to share. In this case, over on the Mechabellum Discord, sorry, I'm doing something on the other screen. Hotklou, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, has asked for a replay review and for some feedback on their gameplay. He or they have stated that they have late comebacks, or they have less than 1,000 health, or less than that remaining. And they're looking for advice on how to counter things sooner, and I imagine to close games out in a more comfortable spot. Here's what I would say. Health ultimately is a resource, and if you're winning a game with 1,000 or less health, then, you know, that's just good enough. I understand, though, because... or I understand this request, rather, mainly because there are some very swingy spells in this game, Lightning Storm, for example, Nuke, for example, that can just utterly annihilate you, and, you know, 1,000 health isn't going to be enough to tank it to the face, right? So let's get into this replay, and I apologize in advance, Hotklou. This is probably going to be a very long video. This is going to be sort of a long-form stream of conscious dialogue with myself as I go over the replay and as I figure things out. From what I understand, though, if I do decide to click in this takeover and restart the current turn button and do a turn, I will have to reset the replay. So that might extend some of this out a bit. So let's just set the stage real quick. We have Hotklou on Cost Control Specialist with Sledgehammer Marksman. I think that's a great draft. Versus Quick Supply Specialist with Fangball. And I think this is a horrific draft. So just initial thoughts here. I feel like you have a very strong opener comparative to your opponent. Vertical sledgehammers, right? So like a vertical sledgehammer like here. Very strong against early ball pushes if that is the route they decide to go. But also, generally speaking, while Fangs do okay into sledgehammers because of the time it takes for sledgehammers to kill Fangs, sledgehammers, you know, are efficient chaff clear in my mind to what is currently on the board. Some things that I would expect to see you to do here is build out your own chaff. So I would imagine like Fangs, either in front of the tower or maybe slightly delayed behind the tower. And then sort of, you know, play a reactive game to your opponent. So I'm going to start this up and see how this goes. Okay. Cool. Fang, Sledge. I think this is fine, honestly. I think triple Sledge opener against this is fine. My only critique here is that, generally speaking, you don't want to be doing DPS with sledgehammers into balls. We'll leave that up to our marksman. Marksman at this point, roughly 2-shot a ball. But the reality, right, is that it's 2 shots from one marksman and 1 shot from one sledgehammer to kill a ball at the moment, and that will happen very, very consistently. So something that I would like to see in the future is that when you are against steel balls like this, is I think vertical sledges are a must. So we're going to move forward with this a bit. Looks like you're kind of going through recommended formations, which is fine. I think at the end of the day, like, these formations do have a purpose in the game. I would say though, if you're looking to kind of level up a little bit here, I would generally try to. That's very interesting. I would generally try to kind of play around with deployment on your own. So, like, just initial thoughts here. This is gonna hose us pretty bad, and that's okay. This is kind of a cheese in my mind. For example, right, you haven't missed a deployment, and they have. So just initially on round 1, you are ahead on plastic, so to speak, and plastic being pieces on the board. So, yeah, it looks like you hedged for a right side push, which is, like, reasonable, right? Like, you kind of have to 50-50 this sometimes. So, like, just initial thoughts here. This is going to hose us, but I would really like to see, like, vertical fangs here, and then, like, a vertical sledge here, and then maybe, like, some storm callers back here. And I think that would do exceptionally well into what is currently going on. But let's see how this plays out. Yeah, I mean, pretty typical stuff so far. This kind of sucks. And the reality, right, is that this won't clear in time to do anything meaningful. Maybe it'll kill the balls, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. It mitigates about 80 damage. Oh, that was pretty fortunate, that timing there. Yeah, so, I mean, we mitigate some damage here. And that's fine. Like, realistically, we take about 300. That's okay. Alright. Whoa, that was some quick picks from both of you. So we go for Elite Phoenix and slam down a Phoenix. I think this is overvalued. If I had to take a guess at what you're thinking here, you're thinking I have cost control, I have unlimited funds, essentially, right? And I'm going to use that to recruit higher level units. I think in general, though, a rule of thumb to follow in the future, this sort of combo, Marksman Phoenix, is bad. So either we need to be transitioning out of our Marksman, and we need to be taking field recovery, or we just don't go this route. Something that I would really like to see, right, because we're seeing a lot of pressure coming down this vector here, this little corridor, is we need to have stuff over here. We need to have stuff to answer what's going on this side of the tower. Something that is also, I would like to highlight here, we are missing a deployment this round. That is also generally a bad rule of thumb. These early rounds, deployments are incredibly crucial. And usually, right, what we're seeing in these early rounds, at least in my MMR, is this idea of mass recruitment and getting your chaff set up. And this sort of idea is that we are making a non-committal board and waiting for a strong signal either from cards or from the unit drops to develop the army around. So it looks like you've made a very strong committal decision early on. In my mind, this sort of feels like moving the chips all in, and I think this is probably where we're going to see some trouble. Right now we have level 2 steel balls, and granted, you know, these one shot these level 2 steel... Oh, they don't actually. But these level 2 steel balls, especially at round 2, is a huge tempo swing in your opponent's favor. and we need to have a strong answer for that. And the only strong answer that we can have for that right now in these early rounds is a delay. So what I'm probably going to anticipate here happening. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think this missile's great. Let me finish my train of thought. Sorry. What we're probably going to see is a lot of tempo start to build along this corridor, and potentially even another level from these steel balls here. And if that happens, the game can very quickly spiral out of control. What I was going to say about this missile, though, is that I talked with Stoney quite a bit, and he has this this very interesting and I think fresh perspective on cost control spec, and that is, if we are getting an extra 100 credits per turn, we need to be using that. And that's either shielding, which is, you know, shielding is pretty bad against steel balls and scorpions as your strong shield break units, or using missiles. And I think this missile is great, right? Because if this missile hits, it's probably going to hit here. It's going to slow this down so it doesn't get an early shot on our guys. And it's going to let these fangs move forward, if not kill some of these fangs, right? And they die to these sledgehammers, giving our our marksman units back here free reign to essentially rain hell on this guy. So let's see how this plays out. So this is a smart move by your opponent, right? He's placing a unit here, which pulls everything over here, which was, you know, this was originally defending this sort of corridor, is now being pulled in and exposing the tower even more. So we really need to be shoring up our defense now, because he's exposing it pretty heavily. Once these balls get in, it's pretty much over for that tower. And do we don't get onto the scorpion. That's so sad. And yeah, this ball is making a beeline for this marksman. Do we stop it? Okay, cool. Nice. So we got a little fortunate from unit aggro here, but the reality, right, is that our opponent can buy a mobile beacon from this tower, force it along this corridor, and things get very, very, very scary for us. These fangs are going to get a ton of XP, but that doesn't really matter. That's a little unfortunate on unit targeting here. We will clear this, it looks like, and we should just win the round with what's left on the board. Okay, nicely done. Whoa. Alright, some very fast picks. Again, I'm not sure if that's because of fast deployment, so I apologize if I am misattributing that. Saber-tooths. I wish I could rewind a little bit. I didn't see everything in the free unit pack. But your opponent went boat, which is just a terrible idea into what you've got on the board currently, in my mind. And you went saber-tooths, which doesn't seem to be the best here. If I had to guess why you picked saber-tooths here, they almost one-shot balls, right? And they can actually, well, if this was still level 1, they can take a hit from a scorpion and kind of dish it right back, right? But the reality now is that this is level 2, and that this might be kind of an ill-fated decision. This doesn't really add much to our team. By that I mean, what I mean is, if you look at our squad, right? We have sledgehammers which can chaff clear, albeit subpar, especially in a horizontal position, right? Because what ends up happening, and I can demonstrate this in the replay once the round starts, is that horizontal sledgehammers will oftentimes target the same crawler. So we'll see probably these 3 sledgehammers probably delete this part of the crawler, and it's just not ideal. So what I'm getting at is that we have a lot of single target damage in the Sabertooth, Marksman, and Phoenix, and we have very subpar chaff clear. Because here's my thinking, right? Is if we had some amount of chaff clear, like if we had a tarantula like here, and maybe like here, or if we had arc lights, like one maybe here, I don't know, it's a little hard, and then like one here. What we'd end up doing is we'd be able to efficiently clear what is on the board and allow our single target units and these saber-tooths, phoenixes, and marksmen to do their job, which is to, you know, blast a bunch of damage at the opponent. Another scorpion, just completely naked on this flank. That's interesting. I think these vertical crawlers are great. Or not crawlers, fangs. I think these vertical fangs are great. This is one of my favorite defensive tools, especially in this sort of formation, right? We always have the option of clicking this, which basically blinks this unit for a good long while. I think this saber-tooth positioning might be a little troll. I think, if anything, right, I would want the saber-tooths kind of forward, like here, and then maybe this one like back here. We do need more, not sledgehammers. We do need more chaff. If by conventional wisdom, if you were to point this board out to me, and I had no prior knowledge of what was going on here, if you were to ask me who do you think should win, my bet would be on Morioh, our red player, mainly because of how much chaff they have. They have 6 pieces of chaff. We have 2. Chaff wins games, is basically what I'm trying to get at. And these poor sledgehammers are going to get deleted, by the way. Yeah, so look, we just... Oh, I should have demonstrated what those sledgehammers do. We'll focus in on that next round. I mean, we're going to win the middle pretty heavily, and we end up actually taking out the right, which is surprising. I didn't think that was how that was going to go. But, I mean, these steel balls are about to get in. Yeah, this gets kind of ugly for us. I wish this had a hotkey. It's pause button. It does not. Yeah, so my prediction, right, was that Chaff would win this round, and it certainly seems that way. Okay, stop. Oh god, it's so fast. I can't interact down here. Okay, intensive training. There were a couple other options I didn't get to see. I'm sorry. There was haste module. This is a bit of a work in progress, huh? Anyways, there was haste module, intensive training, and a couple others. I think there was like an improved overlord, which was like not great. Intensive training. Let's see. Yeah, so like level 3 balls, like I was mentioning earlier, gets very out of control very fast. He can even go up to level 4. It looks like he didn't even use intensive on there, which is kind of spooky. What do we intensive here? I guess we just go for a line of blue sledgies, but I'm not sure if that's the correct call. Armor. I mean, outside of the HP increase, I don't think this does anything. This seems... I don't understand this. Alright, so we're selling stuff off. We sell off a saber-tooth. We go for more marksmen. And we level up the left side marksman. So here's the thing here, right? Sledgehammers can trade into Scorpions, but they need Chaff to back it up, right? Because this unit takes almost 5 seconds to fire. So if we have like crawlers all around it, right, it's going to spend a lot of time spinning its turret around and then charging up a shot to kill a bunch of crawlers. Okay, we go for AP bullets, and this flank is brutal. Yeah. Alright, so let's see kind of what I'm talking about. Yeah, so these two sledgehammers right here just fire at the same target. Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it right there as well, right? You had these two firing at this target, which had these three also shooting at the same target. So, the rule of thumb when positioning units, horizontal is for DPS, vertical is for chaff clear. And that is true for almost all units in the game. I think it is true for every single unit in the game. I could be wrong on a couple, but the examples don't come to mind right now. And what I'm trying to get at here is that, you know, we had a bunch of single target damage early on in the game, and that's great. So I think the initial positioning should have been horizontal, and I think the positioning of further sledgehammers should have also been horizontal. And you might say, well, doesn't that trade disfavorably into a Scorpion? The answer is yes, but sledgehammers do that already, so it doesn't really hurt that much. Speed this up. This looks like it's going to get gummed up here pretty good, which is great. However, this flank might just completely hose us. So let's see how we answer with that. We have our single target units doing not great single target things here. And these fangs are going to get out on our phoenixes, which sucks. And yeah, I think right now what we're seeing is just a lack of chaff being our downfall here. Ugh, it goes so fast. So we just had the option of getting tarantulas, and we instead go for stormcallers, and I don't understand necessarily why. I think what you're thinking here is stormcallers will clear this, and they won't. Stormcallers will clear this if there's something here. Like if there's another crawler here, yeah, it should be fine, but let's see if you end up doing that. However, though, I do think Stormcallers are pretty decent here, right? He's got vertical fangs. If these balls ever slow down and get locked up on something, they'll do an insane amount of damage. And these Scorpions are like kind of naturally eaten up by Stormcallers. I think, though, this Tarantula pickup from your opponent doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think I would have rather have seen that on you, like just a Tarantula here, right? Just to hold it down. Okay, we go crawlers. Okay, so yeah, this should be fine. This should clear just fine. We go for quick reload. I'm not sure I understand. Let me go for range. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense, right? He has to match range as well now. We outrange everything here, but looks like we missile again, which is great. Okay, so let's see if we can... Yeah, that was perfect. So these 4 sledgehammers right here all deleted like recrawlers, maybe. If we had horizontal, right, the first would lock on, shoot, the second would lock on, shoot, the third would lock on, and so on and so forth, right? So this should clear back here. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Okay, it basically does. But now we have a lot of issues with balls coming in here. That's a little spooky. Okay, cool. These crawlers are doing exactly what I was talking about earlier. They're gumming up this scorpion and allowing our units to do their work. We barely managed to hold off. Oh god, these figs get in though. That's crazy, man. And the scorpion manages to punch through as well. Probably mainly due to the tower timing here, which is unfortunate. And we are on death's door here. Okay, yeah, so I really like deployment spec. I used to not value it very highly, but the higher I've climbed, the more I've come into this idea that you know, deployments are king, and can just either put on the pressure you need to win the game, or dig you out of a hole, which I hope is what happens here. Your opponent goes for improved firepower control system. I mean, outside of like the scorpions, they don't really have anything that really handles that item well. And like, I would say the scorpions, like, they are just do a shit ton of damage, right? Like, do we really need to increase this by 70? This is overkilling everything on the screen. And like, you're a man after my own heart, or you're a person after my own heart with this sledgehammer play, but this is so risky. This is, like I mentioned earlier, pushing the chips all in, and it feels weird. We sell off the Phoenix finally. That was the correct idea. This is an overcommitment. Just missile this, right? It's fine. What ends up happening, right, is if we missile this, these crawlers get all of this XP, they level up, and then we have a level 2 crawler versus a level 2 crawler, and that will hold the line here for long enough for these storm crawlers to clear that we need to. And we got this flank settled. That's fine. Your opponent hasn't really made any more chaff, and you've caught up in chaff, and I don't know. It feels like you should be able to wrestle this back. Hopefully a little bit. Yeah, a lot of damage here. He hasn't matched with range yet, which is interesting. Nice. Pretty favorable over here. This is so spooky. It's so close on the left side. He's punching through with these overlords as well. Do we actually live here? There's no way, right? Oh my goodness, we live with 8 HP if we don't clear anything. This tower timing is pretty favorable. That tower timing is also very favorable. Oh, kill it. Oh, okay. Whew. All right, so we're taking 400. Salt Fang. I mean, this card is bad. This card is actively bad. I would never pick that. Not trying to shame the idea here. I just think I'd rather take the 50 credits every time. Looks like your opponent loaned last round, which means we should be loaning this round. And goodness, if your opponent clicks this button, Oh, I think that last round would have been it, honestly. What would I do here? I'd really like to see this button clicked. Nice. Hey, well done. Nice. Well done. Do you click this button? This button doesn't do a whole lot against an aggressive, but I think it matters in the late game trade. So I would like to see this click. Well done. Okay. Good stuff. Bunch of missiles. I like it. You know you're on the back foot, so we have to play around that. I mean, this is so bad. I don't understand. This button I think would have just killed you last round. I think if he clicks this and makes like 2 more, like I think you just fold and we go fire. I mean, okay. I think I understand. If you want my honest opinion, though, I would love to see these just gotten rid of, or like just enough, right, to deal with the scorpions, but like some better dedicated chaff clear, like Mustangs with range, like along here, arclight with range. Maybe an arclight over here is a little troll. Just something to deal with the mech div is kind of my thinking. All right. Oh, I guess fire kind of deals with mech div. Kind of? Alright, I think I understand your line of thinking. I think it just kills our crawlers, like, super bad, though. Which sucks. These tarantulas aren't doing shit. They are walking forward and dying. Oh, that last missile is so brutal. However, though, like, we still have a lot of stuff on the field. We have to kill this. It looks like we should just barely kill it. Oh, we are struggle bussing. Something that I would really like to see is aerial spec on your marksman loadout. Just remove this quick reload and go for aerial spec. These 3 guys would have killed that overlord very, very fast that way. Did we manage to... Oh my goodness. That is a chonky boy. Can't even see its health bar anymore. Oh. Does it actually go down? Oh, I don't think you have the DPS anymore. Oh, no. Okay. I mean... This is sort of what I meant earlier, right? I think if you just went more boats, you fold. But we'll see how this plays out. Does he fall for the noob trap, which is after field maintenance he puts on nano repair kit thinking that they stack? The answer is if you're on the unknown here, they do not stack. These are independent things. Level 5 boat with field maintenance is very spooky with our board. If we go double shot though, maybe that should help. Goodness, man, if he just goes like Fang with shields, I think this side completely crumbles. Maybe not because we have fire, but it would not be ideal. Yeah, I think this boat's late. That's his missile. Okay, I mean, I would really love to see more bangs before this button is clicked. We loaned. We have 0 cash left. Ah, this doesn't look good, bud. The missile is a good call out, though, or rather, the shields are a good call out into the missiles. Okay, so he puts the nano repair kit here. Interesting. Oh, this looks really, really bad for us. I mean, we managed to clear the balls. We're on the overlords now. Oh, this one goes down pretty quick. Alright, nice. I thought that was gonna go a lot worse. Alright, that's a nice crack too. That's a lot of damage. So there was Fortress, Worm, Wraith, Fire Badger. And our opponent goes for... this doesn't seem great for your opponent. And you go Fire Badger. I think Fire Badger is a great pickup, right? I think if we go like Fire Badger here, maybe back a little bit, like Fire Badger here, and then we click Napalm, I think we're cooking. And I think that's probably game, right? All this chaff dies. Our marksmen are kind of scaled up at this point, and they can do their work. And yeah, this Wraith feels kind of incorrect, especially for Tech and Degen Beam. I'm not sure what this is trying to accomplish. I mean, I think what your opponent should be doing is like storm collaring you, shield fangs, and like selling these units off, and they're just actively not. Yeah, I mean, so he's overloading the left side, which makes sense. Melter. I mean, a melter doesn't... Okay. Melter doesn't do anything into the board. We have a bunch of sledgehammers and a bunch of marksmen. It's just... That's just a bad idea and pivot from your opponent. Level 3 boat. I mean, I would really have loved to have seen this unit get sold off, and then this button get clicked. Yeah, and you do more shielded fangs. I think that's the correct call given what's going on here. They kind of died a double shot, but like we don't care about that. Yep, and we've scaled up all these marksmen back here. Basically everything's either level 3 or level 4. So we should be doing a lot of deeps. Man, this looks really good for you now. Yeah, everything is back here. Our line's basically completely intact. Yeah, and I think this is probably game right here, if I had to take a guess. It's very close, if not. Alright, one more round. Sticky oil against him, very smart, right? I completely agree. We can also just click this button at any point too. Smart stuff. Clone, range, elite marksman. Yeah, I mean at this point, right? Like, why not? I think the game's very firmly in your grasp. You'll be sitting back at your tower, killing him at his tower. So, like, why not, right? Temp range, lone, smart stuff as well. Your opponent does not loan? Oh my goodness. Those are all his missiles? Some of them are yours. I mean, this is a mistake from your opponent. He does not click lone, he does not click temp range. This is like straight up a throw from your opponent. This all lights on fire. All of his chaff running forward dies. We are at our tower, very comfortably DPSing. He has to walk forward. He has no chaff left. And our DPS is doing their job. Alright. Well done. Well done. All right, so let's take a look at the battlefield here. And we wanted to talk about a couple of different things, right? Which is, how do I prevent my games from going this close? And the answer is, we committed way too hard into certain maneuvers and certain things early on. Like, I think right here, we snag Elite Phoenix. We buy one Phoenix and never touch it again. I think that's a mistake. Here's what I would have liked to have seen this round, right? So I'm going to take over and sort of show you what I would have done here. And I want to take over Hotklou. All right, so we have the option of Missile Strike or Skip. I think Missile Strike is just fine here. What I'm hoping to do is I'm hoping to kill this Chaff off. What I want to do, right, is I want to go something like Sledgehammer here, Vertical Fang up here, and then probably unlock Crawler. Do like Crawler back here. And then, right, we have the remaining 50 left over. We could missile straight up. Or, right, if we want to be careful and secure our flank, we can just missile here. So let's see how this plays out. If I remember correctly, we ended up losing this round. So let's see how this goes. These crawlers should get in just in time. Ooh. Yeah, look at that. I think this holds. But do you see why this is so good here? Look at all three of them are targeting the same sledgehammer. I think this still gets the tower, but like, look, we've killed the scorpion. We're going to clear, and we win the round. And if I remember correctly, this was a round lost for you. And if I'm not mistaken here, after that we would have had a good chunk of XP from killing this, and we would have been able to scale very hard in the next round. So, just an example of what I'm talking about. You might ask, why isn't this snug up against the corner? And the answer, right, is that if they put a Fire Badger here, my shit dies, and I don't like that. So I always leave room for a Rhino. So that way, if they put like an Arc Light, Fire Badger, I can have the Rhino tank. I think in the case of a Fire Badger, these still die because of splash damage, but you get the idea. You get what I'm going with here. I like to have my crawlers not fully snug up against this corner. But yeah, sort of what I'm talking about, right? Vertical fangs in front of the tower. This gives us room for Stormcallers right here too, which could be neat. And vertical sledgies, very strong defensive tools against these sort of like ball pushes. So use that, abuse it, and thanks for letting me review your game. A couple other things that I would say here in general, use your deployments more effectively. Don't all in a level 4 unit on round 2. Let's go for more chaff early on, and let's develop a more well-rounded army before, you know, moving the chips all in. Yeah, I think that basically covers everything. You did win, and well done to you. I think that you committed too much into this idea of sledge marksman, and I get it. It's a fun comp. I play it all the time too. But, you know, if we're looking for like very solid feedback, develop more chaff. Anyways, I think that's all I have for you. I apologize. I'm looking at my OBS studio and it is 45 minutes long. So I hope you get something good out of this. Outside of that, thank you for watching. If you have more desire to watch my content, shoot me a subscription on YouTube or toss me a follow on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Clintleetwood. But outside of that, like, comment, subscribe, and that whole YouTube shenanigans. Anyways, I'm out of here. Goodbye.